Hey, what's up guys, Saint Greens here. How are you all doing? I hope you all are doing great. Welcome back to the channel. Now on to the story. Chapter 1, Enter Naruto Frost, Uzumaki. New York City. Being reborn was an interesting feeling for the blonde former Uzumaki, now Frost. Having to grow up from a baby to going through puberty again was an experience he prayed to never have to go through again. He remembered how he had died in his previous life as a hero, saving his people, and left the future of the world in the hands of his children. Flashback. Land of Fire. Naruto looked at Boruto as he fought Kawaki. They had just worked together to defeat the last of the Otsutsuki, and now they were going after the other to eliminate the last threat that could potentially kill them and each other. Their fight was intense to the point where Naruto couldn't see a way to stop them. However, their battle came to an end when he watched them trade blows with killing intent, each of them on the brink of exhaustion. Then, suddenly, a figure appeared and attacked them. It was a piece of the Shinju tree that took Sasuke's appearance. He thought Boruto had killed it, but it must have survived somehow and waited for the right moment to attack. Naruto watched as the Sasuke look-alike beat his already weakened son. Without hesitation, the blonde jumped into the fray with a battle cry. Naruto shouted Rasengan, and brought his attack down, but it didn't damage the Shinju tree. In an instant, the Sasuke look-alike's hand was in his chest, piercing his heart. He could hear the sounds of people crying out in despair, for they too knew he was going to die. Naruto gave the Shinju tree a wicked smile as seals started to consume both of their bodies. It was a forbidden jutsu that he had found while searching through Danzo's old root base. It was a Uzumaki jutsu that could only be brought to its full potential by a true Uzumaki. The Shinju tried to pull his hand out of Naruto's chest and escape, but the jutsu had already taken effect. The jutsu created a black hole with the user and the target being the center of it. When activated, neither of them could escape. The black hole kept them together. Not even space-time jutsu would work. It looks like you're having some trouble, Naruto said with a mocking, bloody smile before becoming a black hole and killing them. Everyone present was shocked at what had just happened as they watched the black hole disappear, leaving nothing behind of the hero of Konoha and the Shinju. Flashback end. Naruto Frost was the twin brother of Emma Frost, along with his other siblings Adrian, Christian, and Cordelia. He loved his new family, he really did, but they all had issues and rarely saw eye to eye. Out of all his siblings, he is closest to Emma, his twin, and Cordelia, his cute little sister. While his relationship with Adrian isn't the best, she always tries to manipulate those around her and has a big ego. The blonde can say that he didn't know anything about his brother Christian as they never hung out or even played together as children, so they are like strangers. Then there are his new parents. His father, Winston, is a jerk, plain and simple. He doesn't care about them or their well-being, and will use them to gain more power and influence if he can. His mother, Hazel, is a weak-willed woman who lets her husband do whatever he wants. Don't get him wrong, she loves them, but she is powerless to stop Winston from doing whatever he wants, even hurting them. The Frost family is the second richest in Boston, Massachusetts. Winston hates it because of his ego. He believes they should be the first with his company, Frost International, which is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. The blonde siblings all share one thing in common, and that is they are all mutants. Funny enough, their parents, Hazel and Winston Frost, were just normal humans. Mutants are humans born with an extra gene called the X gene that gives them powers. It's like having a bloodline ability in your past life, but less stable because you can get different powers even if you come from the same family. Naruto learned this when his sister turned 13. Her power started to manifest, while he always had his powers. A bald man came to visit them and told them all about mutants. His dream was that humans and mutants would live together in harmony. Flashback. Snow Valley School for Girls. Emma was forced to attend an all-girls school by her father. He said it was unhealthy for her to rely so much on her twin brother. She needed to be able to stand on her own. You can't be with your brother forever, it's time for you to grow up, Winston said. Now hold on, Emma won't know anyone at this school. You want to send her to a mixed school so that we can stay together? Naruto said, trying to get their father to change his mind. I think father is right, brother. I can't rely on you forever. I have to learn to be my own person. Emma said, surprising both father and son. I will be fine on my own. Emma gave Naruto a weak smile and squeezed his hand when she saw he was about to argue. She knew that her father must be up to something, and he had threatened to send Naruto to military school if he caused too much trouble. But her brave brother just flipped him off. Excellent. I'm glad at least one of my kids is rebellious or stubborn, Winston said, referring to his children without considering their feelings. Love you too, Pops, Naruto said sarcastically, making his father scowl, before he signed and dismissed them. That boy is going to be the death of me, Winston said when he was alone. Neither Naruto nor Emma likes the idea, but Emma knows it has some merit, even if her father might separate them for his own selfish reasons. But he is right, she needs to be able to stand on her own 2 feet. So from that day, Naruto went to Snow Valley School for boys, and Emma went to the sister school for girls. The female Frost found it hard to make friends because she's a bit of a bitch, she admitted this to herself, but slapped anyone who called her that to her face, and she was growing in power to read other minds. The siblings keep in close contact with each other. Naruto calls Emma every night to make sure she is okay. Hearing his brother's voice always lifts his mood. Fast forward. It was a week after Emma's 13th birthday when she started to hear the voices of the people around her in her head. It was overwhelming. It hurts so much, Emma said as she shipped boxes because being near all those people with their voices in her head made her go insane. Soon it became too much, she was locked in her room, and she could hear the voices clearly in her head, which made her cry out in pain. She knocked out everyone at the academy with her powers. Help me, brother, was the last thing she thought before unconsciousness took her. Snow Valley School for Boys. Naruto felt a sharp pain in his head and he heard the faint voice of his sister calling for his help. He didn't care and jumped out of his seat, startling those around him and getting the teacher's attention. Why are you out of your seat, Mr. Frost? Sit down this instant. The middle-aged bald man said, but Naruto ignored him and walked out of the classroom door and sprinted to where he felt Emma's presence. Thanks to the fact that the 2 schools weren't too far apart, and Naruto used his telekinesis to enhance his speed, he made it there in minutes. On his way, he saw unconscious bodies all around. He stopped to check them and they seemed fine, but he was more worried about Emma. So with a speed that would make Olympic athletes green with envy, he was inside his sister's dorm room and saw that she was knocked out in bed. The blonde checked her over and gave a sigh of relief to see that she was okay, just unconscious. Naruto decided that the best course of action was to get his sister out of there just in case it's a terrorist attack or something and call the police on the way out. Frost residence. Naruto took his sister home to meet his parents and siblings, much to their confusion. However, after he explained why, they understood. Emma woke up sometime that night, next to her brother in her bed. She was confused about how she got there, but then remembered what happened earlier that day and how she had called for her brother. She gave him a small smile before going back to sleep, letting the sound of his beating heart soothe her. Next morning, Emma was sitting with her family eating breakfast. Winston was at the head of the table with Hazel on his right and Adrian on his left. Next to her was Christian, and on the other side of the table was Emma, who sat next to her mother, while Naruto was next to him, and finally Cordelia was on the right of Naruto. Emma wasn't hearing the voices as loudly as before in her head. She held her twin brother's hand while eating. The voices seemed to go away when she did that. So, Emma dear, what happened yesterday? Hazel asked with concern in her voice for her daughter's well-being. I'm not sure, I started to hear voices in my head louder than usual, Emma said. Everyone present knew that the Frost siblings all possess powers, but decided to keep it a secret for now. For Winston, it was more about keeping it as a secret weapon for when he might need it in the future, and for the siblings themselves, it was more about staying under the radar of anyone who might want to use them. Do you have it under control now? Winston asked, but Emma shook her head. He would have to make an excuse so she wouldn't go to school. I will stay home with her until she feels better, Naruto stated, and everyone present knew he would take no for an answer, therefore, no one commented. I also want to stay home, Cordelia said, hating school and loving to hang out with her big brother. It was kind of ironic that Cordelia clung to Naruto almost as much as Emma. One would think she would hate being close to him since he doesn't put up with any of her bratty attitude and would puni-sh her for it. But it had the opposite effect. She seemed to get closer to him because he was the only positive male role model in the household. Their father is disqualified because he doesn't really care about them. You can't do that, Cordelia. You have exams soon, you have to go. Hazel said as Adrian ignored all that was going on around her. She seemed to inherit their father's lack of care for his family. But Mom, please. I can study at home. Cordelia begged. It's not fair that only Emma gets to stay home with her brother. Hazel knew that Emma was only staying home because she couldn't control her powers at the moment, but she would go back once she had better control. Naruto interrupted. How about when you're off from school, we go shopping together? Naruto said. He knew all his sisters loved to shop, it was one of the things they had in common. Really? You promise, Cordelia said, smiling when she saw Naruto nod his head. It's a deal. Naruto's eyes went to his older brother, who was eating silently. It made Naruto sad. Christian is gay, and their father, Winston, didn't know yet, but he still verbally abuses him because of how soft he is, making Naruto's brother withdraw into himself. Naruto tried to talk to him, but he always closed him out. Christian always tells him that he won't understand what he is going through, and he is right. Naruto isn't gay, but he wanted to be there for his brother, but his brother wouldn't let him, no matter how hard he tried. Naruto's eyes then went to Adrian. There is no love lost between them. She was an egotistical bitch who only cared about herself. It was no wonder that their father was grooming her to take over Frost International as his heir. They were exactly alike. The blonde wished his family were closer, but he guessed every family has its problems, so he would have to live with them. The blonde came out of his thoughts when he heard a knock. Knock 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 knock. The Frost family heard someone knocking at the door, which was unusual because they had security in the front gate. It should have stopped intruders from entering. Naruto, seeing that his parents looked like deer caught in the headlights, mostly his father's, he is a huge coward. He didn't expect his sisters to do anything or his brother Christian, who was a wuss. Therefore, he was the only one with enough courage to see who was at the door. As he got closer, he felt someone trying to read his mind, so Naruto went on high alert. He used his telekinesis to manipulate matter in the silver wristbands he always carries with him in case he's attacked. He transforms them into blades and levitates them into the air, intending to launch them at the door to get rid of whoever was at the door trying to get into his head. There's no need for that, young man, a male voice said calmly from behind the closed door, but that made Naruto want to get rid of whoever it was more because they had read his mind enough to know what he was planning. I think there is if you don't stop trying to enter my mind, Naruto said as he was ready to launch the blade at the door with sound-breaking speed if he felt the man getting any deeper into his mind. Oh, I'm sorry about that, the man's voice said, and Naruto felt the pressure on his mind lessen until it stopped. I was trying to read your surface thoughts to get a better understanding of what happened earlier yesterday when your sister knocked out everyone at her academy. What do you mean my sister didn't do anything? Naruto stated, becoming agitated at what the man had said. He wondered if the man was from a government agency who had come to take away his sister. I mean you and your sister no harm, let me introduce myself. My name is Professor Charles Xavier, and I'm accompanied by my friend, Dr. Moira MacTaggart, the male voice said. I'd like to come inside and talk to you about the powers you and your siblings possess, and how I can help you better control them. Naruto thought about it for a minute. He considered his options. He could try to kill the two outside, but even if he succeeded, they might have friends with powers who might come after them. Alternatively, he could tell them to fuck off, but they might become desperate or hostile and do something stupid. The best bet was to let them inside and get a better read on them before making any decisions that he might later regret. Fine, I'll let you in, but if you try anything funny, there won't be enough of you left to bury after I'm done with you. Naruto said seriously, meaning every word. Naruto went to the door and opened it. He saw a bald man with a woman with brown hair. He gestured for them to come inside. The blades the blonde created were still hovering above his head, ready to strike if the pair made any funny movements. "I thank you, young man, for letting us inside your home," the bald man said with a smile, but looked nervous at the blades pointed at him and his friend in the air. "There is no need for the blades. We are all friends here. I don't know you, stranger, and I don't trust you either, especially since I know you must have used your powers on the guards outside to get inside here," Naruto stated, not caring if they saw his hostile act. He was protecting his family after all. "The blades stay, now, walk. You said you could help my sister control her power, so prove it." "Sign I took you." "We have tried to get in contact with Winston first before coming here, Charles," the woman beside the bald man said, rubbing her forehead as if she had a headache. "That would have taken forever, and there's no guarantee he would agree to see us," Charles complained. Naruto's sweat dropped as he watched the much shorter woman dress down the taller man like he was a child. It would be comical under normal circumstances, but the situation was too serious for that. When Naruto went back to the dining room with the pair, he saw his parents hiding beneath the dining room table, along with his siblings who had chosen the butter knife and forks as their weapons. Naruto couldn't help but laugh at the comical sight. "Who are these people you brought with you, Naruto?" Winston asked as he got out from below the table, acting like he wasn't shaking in his boots just moments ago. "My name is Professor Charles Xavier, and my friend here is Moira MacTaggart. We've come to discuss the incident that happened yesterday at your daughter's school," the bald man said. "She lost control of her powers and knocked everyone unconscious at the academy." "If you know all that, why are you here to blackmail us?" Winston asked, not seeing any other reason these people would be here. "I am not here to blackmail you, Mr. Frost. In fact, I am here to give you an offer," Charles stated. "I run a school for gifted people, and your children seem to be mutants. The professor is one of the world's leading authorities on the subject. When it comes to it, he can help all of your children better control their powers and coexist with regular humans in society." The pair went on to give their sales pitch, telling them all about mutants and their goals, but instead of impressing the Frost family, they lost them. From what the professor said, he wants them to use their powers for the betterment of human society and to coexist with normal humans, but that way of thinking was flawed. Humans hate what they don't understand or can control. So Naruto was sure when mutants come into the spotlight, regular humans will scream for their deaths. "Are you done, Professor?" Winston asked when the bald man nodded. He continued, "Then you can leave." "What do you mean, aren't you interested in helping humanity?" the bald man said. "Even if you don't want to do that, I can help you control your powers so that you can blend into society and lead a normal life." "Professor, you're assuming that we want to be normal or blend into society or even help humanity in general," Emma said, speaking for the first time since the two guests arrived. The professor looked stunned while Moira nodded in understanding. It was something the professor, on his quest to have humans and mutants coexist, refused to see. Not everyone gives a shit about holding hands and getting along. That and the fact that you think humans will accept mutants is almost laughable. Humans will try everything they can to destroy us, so we have to be ready when that time comes, Naruto stated, knowing what people are capable of, both good and bad. The professor had a flashback of his friend, a man who could manipulate metal, saying something similar, but he refused to accept it. Humans are better than that, after all. Naruto knew from then that this meeting was pointless. While the Frost family didn't see eye to eye on many things, this was one thing they all agreed on. The professor's dream of having humans and mutants coexist was a pipe dream at best. The former Uzumaki let his blades reform into wristbands, concluding that they were no threat to Naruto. Just an idealist and his companion. It was funny how the professor ushered his friend out while everyone went back to eating their breakfast as if nothing had happened. Flashback end. After their encounter with Professor Xavier, Emma saw that he had full control over his telepathic powers and vowed to surpass him one day. It wasn't a week later that Emma had good enough control to go back to school. When Emma returned to school, she began to excel in everything she did, using her strengthened abilities. Winston, their father, couldn't be happier. which made Naruto roll his eyes as he knew his father was thinking of how he could use Emma to make himself richer. The one thing that bothers the blonde is that his sister had a crush on one of the teachers, and he seems interested in his 16-year-old twin. Flashback. Snow Valley School for Girls. Naruto had come by the school to surprise his sister by picking her up from school. He saw a group of 4 girls Emma's age and approached them. "Hi there. Do any of you know where I can find Emma Frost?" Naruto asked with a charming smile, making the girls blush. "Why would you want to find her? She's a total bitch, or you're her boyfriend or something. You should totally dump her and get with me," a girl with black long hair said, and the others agreed that Emma was a bitch but argued about who he should go out with. "Stacy, you bitch. Why would he want to go out with you? You're such a slut. Don't you have a boyfriend already?" A red-headed teen snapped at her friend. "No, he should date me. You two would give him an STD or something. I'm still a virgin after all, so I'm the better choice," a girl with brown hair said. "Just because you haven't taken a dick in your pussy doesn't mean you're not a slut. Mindy, I know for a fact that you sucked off more than half the boys in your neighborhood," a teen with short blonde hair said with a bored voice. Naruto watched in amusement as the 4 teenage girls argued and revealed each other's secrets in public, until a crowd formed and Naruto just decided to look elsewhere. The blonde perked up in several classes, where teens either smoked pot or made out. The woman was making out with the man, but now that Naruto had a better look, he realized he was a teacher and the woman was clearly a student from her school uniform. When they broke the kiss, Naruto was shocked to see that the woman was his sister, Emma, and the man was Ian Kendall, her science teacher. He must have made a noise, because Emma looked in his direction and paled instantly. She tried to say something, but it was too late and Naruto was already on top of Kendall, having punched him so hard that he was thrown across the room. The blonde, blacked out from being so consumed by rage. When he snapped out of it, he was handcuffed in the back of a police vehicle with an ambulance loading Ian Kendall's lifeless body. Naruto was arrested for murder, but thanks to his family's connections and the relationship between Emma and Kendall coming to light, he got off with a slap on the wrist. However, the relationship between him and Emma was never the same. Flashback end. After that incident, things seemed to take a downward spiral for the Frost family. The fact that Christian was gay became known to their father, Winston, which made their father to further alienate him. This led Christian into taking drugs and alcohol, to the point where he had overdosed multiple times and had to be hospitalized. But he did it all over again. Adrian was as usual selfish. She didn't care about anything that was happening to her family around her, to the point that even their father started to have second thoughts about letting a person like her take over his company. Cordelia was the only one Naruto could say his relationship hadn't changed with Emma, who was avoiding him, and his mother refused to look at him. His sweet little sister had even started to pick fights with Emma in his honor, amused him if he weren't feeling so frustrated about everything. Naruto decided that things couldn't go on like this. So he decided to take his father up and threatened to go to military school, to get away from all the drama. Fast forward. "Why do you want to go? Don't you love us anymore?" Cordelia asked as she was there with her father to see him off to military school. "It's not that I don't love you, but right now, I need to make a change in my life. I will go crazy if I stay there. The atmosphere in the house is so depressing that I can barely breathe," Naruto said honestly. "But why go so far and why military school?" Cordelia asked as she could understand what her brother was talking about. Feeling at home felt worse than being in school nowadays. "I just think I can find myself again there," Naruto stated. "Don't worry, I will write to you often." "You promise?" Cordelia asked, to which Naruto nodded. "Then I wish you find what you're looking for and come back when you do." It would be months before Naruto got the news from his father, who sent Christian to a mental institution and made Emma his heir, but she rejected his offer and left the house to make her own way. Naruto was sad when he heard all that, but he decided that he would start living for himself in this life. He remembered all his past memories after killing Kendall in a rage, and he didn't want to make the same mistake his past self had made by living to make others happy instead of himself. With a heavy heart, Naruto remained at the military school and wrote only to his younger sister while keeping his future plans secret. Chapter end. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and set up notification. You can also join my Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Saint Green's out until next time.